We are fortunate to enjoy various genres of music, classical dance form, instruments, and not only that, but it is my great privilege to introduce a distinguished individual who blends financial expertise with spiritual commitment, Shri Chetalur Krishna Varahan. With over 25 years of experience in finance, treasury, and audit, he has held prestigious roles, including his tenure with the World Health Organization at their headquarters and in Copenhagen. Currently, he serves as a head of financial reporting at the World Meteorological Organization in Geneva. Beyond his professional achievements, Krishna Varahanji is deeply rooted in spiritual traditions. A dedicated practitioner of Pancharatra Agama, he studies under the revered Sri Uve A.P.N. Swami. He is also a proud member of Saran, an inspiring organization founded by Sri A.P.N. Swami. Saran is devoted to spreading the principles of Sanatana Dharma globally, preserving ancient manuscripts through digitalization, nurturing young talent, and fostering devotion through unique initiatives. One such initiative is Bhavanam Thorum Paduka, a heartfelt tradition where the divine sandals, that is Paduka, of Sri Rama are invited into homes accompanied by grand celebrations and spiritual fervor. Last year, he had the honor of receiving Sri Rama Paduka from his Acharya, Sri A.P.N. Swami. Since then, he has led his journey across Europe, gracing cities like London, Paris, Zurich, and Olten. His contributions extend to conducting Agama-related activities such as Kalyanotsavam and Samprokshanam for temples in India. As a gifted orator, he has delivered insightful discourses in Tamil, English, and Hindi, inspiring audiences to embrace practical ways to live and celebrate Sanatana Dharma. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in warmly welcoming Karukuruchi Chetalur Krishna Varahan, a shining example of how spirituality and professional excellence can harmoniously coexist.
प्राची संध्या काचिदंदर निशाया प्रज्ञादृष्टे रंजन श्रीरपूर्वा वक्त्री वेदान भातु में वाजिवक्त्रा वागी शाक्या वासुदेवस्य मूर्तिः श्रीमान वेंकटनाथार्य कवितार्किक केसरी वेदांताचार्य वर्यो में सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि वेदांत देशिक यतीन्द्र कटाक्षलब्ध त्रय्यंतसारम अनवद्य गुणम बुधाग्र्यम नारायणाद्य यदुतुर्य कृपाभिषक्तम श्री रंगनाथ यतिशेखरम आश्रयामः श्री कृष्णमार्यम करुणालयंतम वेदांत युग्मम समतीतवंतम वत्साभिजातम विदुषान्वरेण्यम श्रीभाष्य सिंहम प्रणमामि नित्यम वाच्य श्री कृष्ण सूरीन्द्र पदपंकज षट्पदम अनंत पद्मनाभार्यम भारद्वाजम अहम भजे अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः. जय Garuda Suparna. Namaskaram. I am Krishna Varahan from Geneva, and in this auspicious occasion of celebrating Margazhi along with SIFAA, it's my privilege to talk a few words about Swami Deshikan's Sanskrit drama called Sankalpa Suryodayam. Whenever we think of Swami Deshikan, we would remember many of his works in Sanskrit called shlokas, like the Hayagriva shloka or Dashavataram shloka, Garuda Dandakam, Raghuvira Gadyam, and then his magnus opus called Paduka Sahasram that he composed 1008 shlokas on the Paduka of Ranganatha within a span of 3 hours. For us to read that itself, it's going to be difficult, but he composed 1008 shlokas in the matter of 3 hours. And also he has done few Tamil works called Deshika Prabandham, like Adaikalapattu, Prabandhasaram, etc. When you talk about Swami Deshikan, he is like an open university where you could just take one of his work and you can do a complete research for your lifetime. That's why if you, like the starting shloka that I mentioned about Sriman Venkatanatharya is a salutation in Sanskrit to Swami Deshikan. The same thing if you, there is a Tamil invocation sloka on Swami Deshikan. Sirundru Thupul, Thiruvenkadamudiyan, Parundru Chonna Paramudiyul, Or Undru Dane Amayado, Dharaniyil, Valvarku, Vanera, Pomalavum, Valvu. So you just need to understand one of his work completely that will liberate you from this samsaric ocean of cycle of birth and death. Swami has done a lot of works, like more than 128 works, but still he felt like people did not understand the concept of Visishta Advaitam properly. Like there have been itihasas in our country like Ramayana and Mahabharata. But if you see, seldom people read that because one, it's too long, like 24,000 shlokas and all those things. People don't have the time or they don't concentrate for long hours. But then, if the same thing is made in the form of a serial or a movie, we do watch. Like how many of us were eagerly waiting for every Sunday at 9 a.m. to watch either B.R. Chopra's or Raman Sagar's Ramayana and Mahabharata. So it's easy to attract through a visual medium rather than to communicate the same thing in words. So thinking that Swami Deshikan being a visionary, he thought, okay, let me deliver something unique to explain the tenets of Visishtadvaitam. So he chose the drama mode, which is called the Sankalpa Suryodhyam. In Dashavdara Shlokam, the starting of the Dashavdara Shlokam, it goes like this. Devona Shubham Matanotu Dashata Nirvartayan Bhumikam Range Damani Labda Nirbara Rasair Adhyakshito Bhavukai Yadbhaveshu Pratag Videsh Anugunan Bhavan Swayam Bibrati Yaddarmairahani Dharmani Viharate Nana Kritir Naika. So in this, what Swami Deshikan says is, the world is a stage, Rangam. And then Perumal, the Lord Narayana, takes different avatar, comes down to us to establish that he is the supreme being. Like if you take Rama avatar, again it is very apt, you could easily relate it because Rama came and he chose his father as Dasharatha. So and then again if you come to South India where we don't put the surname at the back but we keep the initials in the front. So if you read that, it is called, he is called Dasharatha Rama, which is called D. Rama. Indirectly implying us that he is doing a drama to attract all the Jivatmas towards him. And also we remember a Western poet, right, who also says that the world is a stage and we are mere actors. I think you could see those poets would have got inspirations from Swami Deshikan's work. There was a poet called Krishna Mishra and he wrote a drama called Prabodha Chandrodayam. There was nothing wrong in that because when you talk about Chandran, which is the moon, it is beautiful. And then the moment you see a moon, everybody gets attracted. But there is a flaw in that because the moon has both the waxing and the waning phase. So it, like from Paurami to Amavasa, so it decreases and increases. So then, even though it is beautiful, it's romantic, but at the same time, it doesn't emit its own light. It needs a different light source to emit. So what Swami Deshikan did was, in order to give reply, unfortunately, they did not have Twitter those days to tag back each other and write in 140 words, and in definitely 140 characters would have been sufficient for both the poets. But Krishna Mishra wrote a book, and in reply, Swami Deshikan wrote another drama called Sankalpa Suryodhyam to counter-attack the points what Krishna Mishra has said. So when he wrote this drama, he gave the name as Sankalpa Suryodhyam. Again, the reason when you talk about Suryodhyam, which means sun doesn't need any other sources of light. It attracts its own light, and then we, the Jivatma, are in the darkness in the samsara, and for us to get liberated from this, we need a sun which is nothing but Perumal. Also, when you go a little more philosophically, as a Jivatma, when you attain moksham, it goes through two different paths. The one path is called Archira the Marga, the route where you have the point of no return. So when you do that, either through bhakti or prapatti, you attain moksha, and that's when you don't come back. So, and that path is a path of light. Any other path Jivatma takes is bound to come back to this materialistic earth and then takes the cycle of birth and death. And also to travel in this path, you need his divine will. Only when he thinks, anything can happen, because whatever we try to do, we need to have his divine will. So that's why it's called Sankalpam. Sankalpam means the God's divine will that he would like to liberate all these Jivatma and make them get moksham. So Swami explains in the first two shlokas of this drama as how are the two different types of bhakti and prapatti. यद्भक्ति प्रचयात्मके दिनमुखे दृष्टिक्षमः क्षेत्रिणः क्षिप्रं संसृति शर्वरीं क्षिपति यत्संकल्प सूर्योदयः तत्वैरस्त्र विभूषणैरधिगतः स्वाधीन नित्योन्नतिः श्रीमान् अस्तु समे समस्त विपदुत्तराय नारायणः लक्ष्ये यत्र श्रुतिमित गुणा कृष्टिलब्धा वदानैः प्रत्यग्बाणः प्रणवदनुषा सत्ववद्भिः प्रयुक्तः मध्ये वक्षस्फुरति महसा पत्रलः कौस्तुभात्मा पद्माकान्तः स भवतु दया दुग्धसिन्धुश्रियैवः. So here it says you have two parts, either bhakti or prapatti, the act of surrender. You could surrender to him and he will take necessary steps to liberate you from this samsara. So how do one comprehend this drama? If you consider Kurukshetra war, so you had both Pandavas and the Kauravas. So the Pandu means white. So that's why he is called Pandu. He was born so white that he was called Pandu. And if you have to equate that to our senses, it is called the Sattva. And then the Kauravas are the Rajas and Tamas. And our body, again in Bhagavad Gita, Swami Krishna says, our body is the Kshetram. So the Kurukshetra is nothing, we need not go find somewhere near Delhi. It is within our own bodies, the Kurukshetra, where the Sattvam and Rajas, Sattvam is fighting against the Rajas and Tamas. So the turmoil between Rajas, Tamas and Sattvam, and how Sattvam emerges victorious, is the main plot of Sankalpa Suryodayam. This Jivatma has Jnana, and his wife is called Dharmabhuta Jnanam. So again, the brilliance of Swami Deshikan can be seen, because what he did was he took all these abstract characters that we think of and made it as the real characters, as if they are talking to each other. So the Jivatma and his wife Dharmabhuta Jnana, they have two kids. One kid is called Satvik kid, who is called Viveka, and then his wife is called Sumati. Satvik is Vivekan and Sumati. And then he has a commander-in-chief called Vyavasaya, which means the effort, and also a driver or a charioteer called Sat Tarkan. Because when you have to go from one place to another, you need a proper driver, right? So he ensures that you also have a proper driver who can ask the right questions and take you to the right path. And then there are few more supporting characters for the protagonist Vivekan, called Vishnu Bhakti, Maharshis, etc. Then the second kid is called Mahamohan, and his wife is called Durmati. And his supporting characters are Kama, the desires, his wife Rati, enjoyment, Krodha, anger, Jigamsa, desire to kill, Lobha, Trishna, Damba, vanity, Kuhana, fraud, Darpa, pride or arrogance, and then Asuya, finding fault. So this drama is structured into 10 different acts. So let us briefly touch upon each of the acts, and then I'll try to give you a synopsis of each of these 10 acts. The first act Swami describes about what is Visishtadvaitam, what are its origins. Again, if you take any Sri Vaishnava, the famous thing is from where does it start? Because everything you need to know the source. Like even when you buy any cloth or any vegetable, we always go for, okay, what is the source? Whether am I getting organic or whether it is filled with pesticides. So for us, finding the source is always important. So the same way, if you see the source, again, you can easily understand in a form of a sloga. It's called Lakshminatha Samarambam. So it started with Lakshminathan, which is the Perumal Narayana itself. So this Visishta Advaitam started off with the Lord itself, and then from there it keeps continuing into various rishis, and then the closest rishi is your own Acharya. So the link starts from Lord Narayana and all the way up to your Acharya. Then in the Act 2, Swami Deshikan decides to win the other tenets of beliefs. Swami Deshikan had a very long desire. He was always an ardent devotee of Swami Ramanujacharya. Unfortunately, their timelines did not match because Ramanujacharya's timeline was 1070 to 1170, and then Swami Deshikan came in 1230s and all those things. So Swami Deshikan did not meet Ramanuja in person. So he always had a longing for it, like how I wish, because Swami Deshikan followed the Ramanuja Sampradaya. So he was always longing, like how I would have wished my Acharya so that it would have been my greatest blessing. But again, the work of Swami is that he ensured that while writing this drama, he made a character for himself as well as his Acharya, as if they both are interacting. Again, now we have seen so many films with AIs of the actor and actress who have gone many years back. Still, we could enjoy their voices and all those things. I'm sure, as I said, Swami Deshikan is a visionary. He has thought about all those things, and then he recreated as if a scene between him and his Acharya, and he went ahead and he established that what Visishta Advaitam is all about. In the Act 3, it talks about Mukti Upayam. That means what do you need to do to get moksha? Either you do bhakti or prapatti. And then in the 4th act, we saw the antagonist, right? So Mahamogan, he has a battle of friends. So he goes and says, okay, now it's time to go on destroy Vivekan, because only then it is important that we need to destroy Vivekan so that the Jivatma, the Jnana, does not get liberated and stays within this samsaric world. So Kama, Krodha, all those characters, they come and try to destroy Vivekan. But then, unfortunately, Vivekan has a very calm mind and he's able to defeat them and establish Shanti Rasa. Generally, if you see, there are 9, again, I'm sure there are going to be some dancers coming on shortly after this. So they always establish 9 different rasams. Krodham, Bhaya, Bibhatsa, and Shanti is the important rasam. Only when you have Shanti, the rest, all the rasams would elevate. So thereby, in the Act 4, he established that Shanti rasam is important. And then in the 5th act, again, other Indriyams comes and disturbs Vivekan, and he ensures that all the other Indriyams, like your hands, all those things are defeated, including your manas, are in control, so that you can continue further on your journey of Mahasamadhi. Once you have defeated your Indriyams, like again, that's why if you see, it's very important for us to have a proper diet regime when you want to practice bhakti or prapatti marga, because the food is the first thing that's going to distract our mind. So it is important that the right food is being consumed at the right time. That is also the same thing what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, that anything more than certain time period, it is not considered as sattvic food. So it's going to create a lot of other reactions within your own body. So where do we meditate? A question comes on where do we meditate? So that's where Swami Deshikan takes up the entire geography of India. He has written a book called Bhuloga Nirnayam, but unfortunately that is not available. It has been lost. So what Swami Deshika did was he traveled various cities and he visualizes the various cities in this act. Like imagine in those days where he had to travel either by a bullock cart or maximum by walk, still Swami is able to manage and remember each and every detail of various cities that he has seen and documented it for us. Like the places they visit are Himalayas, Shalagrama, Ayodhya, Mathura, Kashi, Melakote, Thiruvananthapuram, Alvarthanagar, Tirumalarunjolai near Madurai, Srirangam, Kanchi, and Tirumala. And finally, Swami Deshikan says that, okay, after seeing all those things, Vivekan and his chariot, Tarkan, visits all these places and then finds that all these places are good, but there is something or the other, there is a flaw in this place that will not help my father to meditate for a long time. So, what is the best place to meditate? And then he realizes the best place is Manas. But why do you say Manas? Just, I'll give you an easy example. When I say the word Matterhorn, what do you recollect or what do you think about it? Automatically your mind is now transported to Matterhorn where you are planning to take up the lift to see the peak and all those things, right? Say, if I say Ayodhya, who have all been Ayodhya, they would immediately remember, I've been there, this is Sugriva Kila and all those things. So your mind is here, but it is faster than light that it could travel to any place, anywhere across the globe within a millisecond. So that is the greatness of our manas, and that is also the reason why you have to keep good control of your manas. So having found that the manas is the important and the best place to meditate, in the Act 7, Swami Deshikan explains about how do you meditate. So you paint a picture of your famous deity, either it could be Krishna, Rama, Nrsimha, Kartikeya, Pillayar, whatever it is, you paint your favorite deity. And then here in this, Swami Deshikan also takes various shlokas from his other works like Gopala Vimshati, Dashavadara Stotram, Raghuvira Gadyam, etc. In the Act 8, if you see, Mahamohan gets very disturbed that he could not touch Vivekan at all. Whatever he tried to do, Vivekan comes victorious. So he sends a big army of his team and ensures that Vivekan has been defeated. And now, just imagine a scene like Kurukshetra, the battle of Kurukshetra, where you have the Pandavas and the Kauravas fighting with each other with all those astras flying around. So in the similar manner, you could see that Vivekan and Mahamohan fights with each other, and finally Vivekan destroys Mahamohan. And in the 9th act, Swami Deshikan talks about Bhakti Yoga, how it is done, its significance and its importance. So there are 8 steps for a Bhakti Yoga. You start with Yama, Niyamanam, Asanam, Pranayamam, Pratyaharam, Dharana, Dhyanam, and finally Samadhi. This is called Ashtanga Yoga that we say. So how do you meditate and what is the steps that has been done? And finally, in the 10th act, the Jiva and the Dharmabhuta Jnana attains moksham through his son called Viveka. Again, if you see, you could give one more a correlation of Krishna Avatara. Because in Krishna Avatara, what happens when Vasudeva and Devaki has been prisoned by Kamsa, and then Krishna was born and he comes back and liberates his father and mother. So in the similar way, Viveka liberates his father and mother, which is the Jivatma, the Darbhabhuta Jnana, and destroys Kamsa, which is the Mahamohan. To summarize the entire sequence of Sankalpa Surodaya, Swami has given another interesting shloka. Darpodagra dishendriyanana mano naktancharadishtite dehesmin bhavasinduna parigate deenam dashama stitaha adyatve hanumat samena guruna prakya pitartaf puman lanka ruddha videha raja tanaya nyayena lalapyate. Again, when you hear the sloka, you could see some known words that like Hanuman, Guru, etc. So the meaning of this is like the Sita is the Jivatma, and then the Lanka is the body surrounded by all these oceans, and our body is controlled by the Manas, which is nothing but the Ravana, and the 10 Indriyams or our 10 Panchendriyam and Jnanendriyam, like the touch, feel, hand, legs, and the manas, etc. And Acharya is nothing but Hanuman. Hanuman plays the role of an Acharya and identifies there is a Jivatma sitting in an ocean of samsara and liberates and reaches back to the proper owner, which is Sri Rama. So the day when we win our Indriyams and the Jivatma gets united with Paramatma. So that is the day where you can say we celebrate as the real Vijaya Dashami, where we win over all our Indriyams. If you see October to March, it's called the winter arc in the northern hemisphere because it is cold and you don't have much of sunlight. And during this time, this is when your mind is very vulnerable. Again, if you see the modern age people, the doctors, they say recommend an artificial light so that you get more vitamin D's or those kind of things. Again, these are all things what Swami Deshikan has taught, more than 750 years back, to say that, okay, this is the period where your mind is wavery, it's not constant, and also in this part of the world you have more, I would say, deaths because of they are not able to get proper mental support as well. And what people tend to do is they lean towards more self-help books or they go to meditation, those kind of classes, mainly during this time. And also, if you see back in South India, this is when we celebrate our Margazhi celebration because we know that our mind is vulnerable, and to get rid of all those things, we think about the name of the Lord so that we can get out of this. So, if you see all these characters within Sankalpa Suradhya, they are not outside anywhere. It is all within us. How we identify this and then how we control them and how we win over them is the real essence of Sankalpa Suradhya. Let me ask one more question. How many of you seen the film Inside Out 1 and 2? If again, just because for me, I always try to relate it more practically so that it's easy to get home the point. If you've seen that film, the young girl, she has the joy emotion supersedes everything. So there are, at different points of her life, there are different emotions that keeps coming up, and how the joy maintains the equilibrium and ensures that all other emotions are kept at check is nothing but Sankalpa Suradhyam. I would say those directors could have read this book or got inspiration from these scriptures. And one last thing is, again, we do all those things. Another important thing is behind the scene incident, because we are always interested to know what happened behind the scene, right? So when Swami Deshikan wanted to cast this drama, many had an apprehension saying that as a spiritual guru, as an acharya, how can you do this? How can you put a drama and all those things? It's not acceptable. And then there are few set of people who were not ready to listen at all. But then as the drama kept unfolding, they felt like, okay, these are all not characters that live in a daily life. These are all the characters that lives within us. So it is important that I get rid of these bad things so that I can enjoy this drama in a much more fashion. Like again, if you see, if I have to give you some practical or modern day example is, whenever some film releases, everybody says that, it's so boring, I don't want to watch it. But maybe after 5 years or 10 years, the same film becomes kind of a cult classic. So that's one of the situation. And this is such a wonderful drama that I would recommend everyone to go and read. And for everybody's benefit, my Acharyan, Shri A.P.N. Swami, is explaining this drama in a very lucid manner in Tamil every Thursday and Friday via Gmeet. And also the entire, now we are in Act 6, but then the entire drama is also available in his YouTube channel. So whoever is interested, please do reach out to me. I'll be happy to help you. And with this, I would say thank you to SIFAA for organizing this extraordinary Margazhi Utsavam and also giving me an opportunity to talk a few words about Swami Deshikan and his one and only drama that he has written called Sankalpa Suryodayam. Kavitarkika Simhaya Kalyana Gunashaline Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha. Dhanyosmi.
Thank you. Dhanyavad. Dhanyavad Vidwan Shri Krishna Varahan ji for the enlightenment and looking forward to more of such Upanyasam. I request you to be on the stage and I request Arun to come forward for the felicitation. Indeed, it was really good, enlightening, and the importance of Vivek in life. So I think if we learn even a few percentage of that Vivek, we try to bring in us, then I think we can make ours and others' life much more interesting and much more useful.